Journey back with me all the way to the year 2000. We are currently walking through a Hollywood video, maybe a blockbuster, and we see this poster. Do you remember this movie? Yes, today we are talking about Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th, the forgotten horror movie parody. The devil is hungry, he's the star of the show. Hello Flickering Myth family, and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ, and yes, we are talking about Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. I cannot say that title anymore because it is a mouthful, but I recently stumbled upon this video on streaming, and I had not seen this in such a long time. This was a 2002 rental from me often. I absolutely love this movie. But why? Now that I'm rewatching it, it is quite a weird parody movie. We're in that small time right after Scary Movie was like the biggest parody in the world, but this is also like right before every movie was a parody movie. You know what I'm talking about: disaster movie, date movie, all those kind of superhero movies. You remember those? Yeah, there was a time in between Scary Movie and the influx of all of those movies where parodies were interesting, were compelling, were shocking and raunchy and offensive and in your face. And Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th is completely one of those offensive, shocking, raunchy movies. But it is extremely low budget. It's a straight-to-video movie. If you guys don't remember what those are like a equivalent to a straight-to-Netflix movie these days. Yes, I am excited to jump into this because I have not ventured into this movie, into this world in quite a long time. And also, I feel like this is a forgotten parody movie. We remember all those bad ones I mentioned. We remember the good ones like Scary Movie and Not Another Teen Movie. But what about this? Before I get into the review section, I kind of want to look at this film's backstory, look at how it got made, what happened with it, why is it there, but surprise, there isn't a lot of information about this movie. Yeah, again, it's forgotten not just by horror fans, by production historians. So looking at this research, I found out that Lionsgate released the film, or at least got the rights to it, in 1999. So as they try to figure out where it wanted to go, Lionsgate also said, yeah, this is not a theatrical release. After seeing the movie, I could agree that this is not theatrical worthy, but this screams that straight-to-video era that I loved so much. If you remember the early 90s, they had a lot of straight-to-video, straight-up horror films. Really schlocky, low-budget, gory, fun horror movies that are classics for us. So in the early 2000s, we were still in that VHS, that early DVD era. So movies like this being released were really fun because it gave it a home. In theaters, this would have been forgotten, especially in 99 and 2000, two really strong years for films. This would have been just lost in the shuffle, but having its little legacy on TV helped separate it, helped give it the, unfortunately, the little brother quality to Scary Movie, but I also think it gave it its own whole demographic, its whole own audience, which allowed it to strive. You know, I loved this movie again growing up. I thought this was exactly what I wanted. So when Lionsgate got it, they put it onto the USA Network for like a Halloween Shriek Week special, and from there it just kind of lived on in the DVD VHS Hall of Fame for such a long time, until now when I just found it on a random streaming service I have never used before. So yeah, that's kind of the only backstory I could find about this. This is created by a person who made Mad TV, or who worked on Mad TV, a lot of those 90s sketch shows. So you can definitely feel that in here. This feels like a bunch of different like little sketches, a bunch of little skits that are from different Mad TV, SNL kind of things, all mushed together, and that's not good and it's not bad. It struggles with the flow of a Scary Movie. Again, the Wayans brothers were so smart in that first Scary Movie. They directed the hell out of that movie. But I will say this works for what it did. It's fine. It's very Mad TV, very late 90s. And that's all the backstory I have for you. So let's get into the breakdown, the review. What the hell even happened in this weird-ass movie? In the grand scheme of teen movies from this time period, a new student rolls into the school named Dawson Deary, played by Harley Cross. Don't really remember this actor, but I loved him in this movie. I remember being like, oh, he's so cute and dreamy. Where the hell is he now? Julie, what are you doing now? I looked up on your Wikipedia page. Good work outside of film, but you were really fun in this movie. Why weren't you an actor, Harley? So basically, he comes to the school, Dawson Deary, who is based on Dawson from Dawson's Creek, comes to this new school, gets involved with this group of friends that are played by Barbara, Martina, and Slab, and Bonner. Yes, so it's a group of friends he runs into. They all have these weird backstory where all during like a Friday 13th that also happened to be on a Halloween, impossible, but this movie will let it happen. So yeah, all of that, it's the plot of I Know What You Did Last Summer, where that group of friends accidentally did something where they all have to keep a secret, and Dawson comes in with a mysterious backstory, maybe possibly a murderer. So when new murders happen in this school, they point the fingers at him. They pointed at all the other bad people. Who are they pointing at? I don't know, because the killer of this movie makes no goddamn sense. We will get to that in a second. Julie Benz plays Barbara. She is known as Darla on Buffy. She was in Dexter as Dexter's wife. She's awesome in this movie. I absolutely love her. I think Barbara is probably the best character out of this movie. Though Simon Rex playing Slab, I was a big Simon Rex person. I even liked him in the movie Red Rocket not too long ago. He's a good actor. He really owns the dumb doofus aspect of it, so much so that he made it to Scary Movie 3 as the rapper guy. He's so good in these movies. He is true parody gold. I also really, really like Danny Strong. He plays Bonner in this movie. If you are a Buffy fan, he was Jonathan. He was such a cool character. Goes through his stuff with Warren and all that in those seasons of Buffy. But I liked him here. We also have Martina Martinez, who is she's like the lackluster character. She's Dawson's love interest. She doesn't really do much for me. I don't really know this actress either. She's kind of the one that felt completely foreign to me, someone who I never really thought of. This character is not that interesting. So yeah, that's kind of our main young cast. Then we have Tiffani-Amber Thiessen playing a Gale Weathers-like character named Hagatha, I think her name is. My goodness. Also, then we have Tom Arnold playing a cop. He's the Dewey stand-in. He is, Tom Arnold. You may know him as Roseanne's ex-husband. Also, Tom Arnold. I don't know. I can't even give you guys a frame of reference for Tom Arnold. I barely remember him, let alone speaking to anyone who is from Gen Z to millennials to Gen X. Do y'all really remember Tom Arnold? So anyways, we're investigating it. Parodies happen. We get a little bit of Chucky. We get a little of Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which was a movie from this time. We have, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. So many parodies throughout this movie. A lot of them are small. A lot of them are like a quick little Chucky reference where, we see him walking through the hallway, or all the girls are getting their nails done and they look like, Jason or Freddy Claus. So there is a lot of little things here or there. We also have non-horror parodies like Coolio playing a artist formerly known as the Principal kind of character. Yes, we're still mocking Prince for the name change. That was very 99, very 2000. Jokes that felt dated even then. But yeah, so that, this movie wants to parody so much. It definitely falls into the later scary movie categories. Scary movie like 3, 4, and 5, where they're parodying things that aren't, just in horror films, which is why I think, again, Scary Movie 1 and 2 are so strong, because it filters out a lot of the BS. It wants to go straight for horror films, and that's what it wants to do. It doesn't try to do teen movies, because that's not enough teen movies care, The World. This movie really, those movies really focused on that, where I think Shriek tries to do a lot, and I'm like, calm it down. Focus on one thing, give me a cohesive story. No, you can't even do that. So I gave you the background of the movie, I gave you a little bit of the plot and the characters, but what are my feelings on this? Well, much like I did as a kid, I found this movie to be funny. I thought it was okay. Again, it's dated. I'm never going to really harp on a movie for it's dated of a certain time. If the jokes are offensive, if the jokes don't land, I can't really blame it. I'm not in that time period, so it's harder for me to connect with it, because again, there is a distance. That's the problem with parodies a lot of the time, is they're parodying specific things from a specific time. So if you weren't there for it, or if you have no frame of reference, a lot of them don't work. A lot of the gay jokes, a lot of the, jokes on people of color, they're all there. It's very of the time. Do I find them offensive? Not really. I find them more like tedious. Very Mad TV. Mad TV was a weird one because they were far more shocking and offensive than something like Saturday Night Live, but they were never doing it maliciously. That's one thing I will say about this movie. The comedy, the parody, the people they're poking fun of, the things that they're making, jest of, I don't think it's maliciously done, which is key. So many movies nowadays want to be offensive and just be like, isn't this disgusting and shocking? And I'm like, No, this is stupid. I can go on Twitter or X or whatever and see a joke far more offensive than this just scrolling through some old man's Twitter account. So I need to be spiced up a little bit more. So I will say I think this movie offers jokes to expenses of people it's punching down at times, but none of it again feels malicious. I think the comedy's fine. The movie itself, it's cheap. It's cheap. Like everything down to the ghost face, whatever the killer's mask is. It's bad. It's bad. The outfits are bad. The plots, the sets, everything is just cheap. That's the problem of this movie is it screams straight to video. Scary Movie, even Scary Movie 2, which I felt like wasn't as polished as some of the other ones, those felt more expensive than this. And that's why I think this biggest flaw of this is I can say the comedy's fine. I can say the acting is okay. For the most part, the actors are fine. But this movie just reeks of that straight to DVD, straight to video, straight to TV kind of vibe. And that's Disney Channel original movie. Think of a Disney Channel original movie where you could see a Disney movie and you're like, wow, that looks good. And then you would see Xenon or Brink or Smart House and be like, these are fine, but they're so much cheaper than the big budgeted ones I'm watching. That's what this reminds me of. This is the DCOM like version of Scary Movie. It's like fine, it's doing what it needs to do, but it's on a lower budget, a lower scale, but the heart's still there, the acting is still there. I had a damn good time rewatching this. Is some of the jokes bad where I like, it's one of those like, oh, kind of laughs, but it worked. I don't know, something about parodies, something about horror movie parodies specifically, I love. I even tried to watch Stan Helsing. No one remembers that movie either. Try to watch that one. Maybe I'll give that one a breakdown review at one point as well. But I miss a good scary movie parody. We have one coming soon. A new scary movie is in development. I would like to see them mock what horror is. What are we doing in this industry? I know the Wayans tried to do Haunted House, and then we had Meet the Blacks. They're still there. They still exist. But we need something with the oomph of a scary movie or the wit or the camp of Shriek If I Know What You Did Last Friday the 13th. I want something back to these days because, man, 99, 2000, we were killing the parodies. All right, everyone, that is it for my feelings on Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. I wish I had more background information for you. If you know production stories, if you worked on this movie, share your feelings down in the comments below. I want to talk about this movie. If you remembered this, if this was one of your rentals like it was for me, let me know. I want to know if people still remember this. I want to know what people thought about this. If you have the chance to watch it, I will link down in the description where I found it on streaming. I found it in the US, so if you're outside of the US, I don't know where you can watch this legally, but, find the movie if you can. It's a fun, throwback, nostalgic watch, and I had a good time watching it, and a good time talking about it with you all today. So, what do you guys think? Share your comments down below, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to Flickering Myth for more videos just like this.